Welcome to C-WAK, Nighttime Radio. I'm your host, Wobby, and just before we get to tonight's topic, we'll give you the local forecast and the national forecast as well. Starting with Greater Vancouver for this Monday, January 11th evening. Oh, it's going to be pretty cold, about +1 Celsius for all you American listeners out there. That's 34 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's for Greater Vancouver and Victoria and most of Vancouver Island. So we're just above the freezing mark. But for the rest of Canada, it's going to be, well, basically damn cold, below freezing. For all you American listeners, translation, it's going to be as cold as a puddle of piss at the North Pole of Mars. So maybe your NASA Mars Explorer can find a cold puddle of piss on Mars and measure it, and via satellite transmit the temperature back to NASA headquarters, and then you will know the exact temperature range that all of Canada, except for southwestern BC, will be experiencing. Basically, yeah, cold as a puddle of piss at the North Pole of Mars. So, and I know what that feels like too. Even though I'm in Vancouver now, I've walked through a lot of cold puddles of piss, or also known as ice patches, through various time zones and cities across Canada. And yeah, once it gets to the cold puddle of piss temperature range, you won't be able to piss much unless you're wearing double underwear and some lucky rubbing alcohol or something between your legs. Speaking of between our legs, or my legs, or your legs, today's topic will be nudity. And nudity in the wintertime. That may seem like a bit of a odd topic, but odd is what we're all about here at C-WAK. And with a name like Bobby Wobby, you know, I've been odd ever since I became conscious of reality, and that's just the way it's worked out. Now, some people have accused me of being mentally ill, undiagnosed, but seriously ill, and that accusation I consider a compliment. So, keep bringing them on. The more, the better. I think that this outdoor asylum we call Earth is a great place, the crazier you are. So, no restraints, please, unless it's a straitjacket for sexual game purposes only. That can be fun, but, well, now, yeah, back to the main topic at hand here, nudity. When I say at hand, I don't mean that I'm playing with myself now, although I could, but, since this is radio, you're just going to have to take my word on it that I'm not. I have before, but, sometimes what happens is you can inadvertently hit the microphone with the, let's say it like it is, with the ejaculate material. And once that strikes the microphone, even though it's not so heavy, it's traveling at about the same rate as AK-47 bullet at 500 meters. So you're looking at beyond the damage to the microphone itself. You're looking at a very loud pop, which really can do damage to listeners like yourselves' ears. Especially if you have the volume up high. So that's why I'm not playing with myself anymore, because I don't want to risk damaging the microphone and therefore your eardrums. So really what we're discussing is not so much playing with ourselves as just the topic of nudity itself. I think we're the only creature on planet Earth, also known as the outdoor asylum, as I mentioned before. You've probably noticed it yourself, but haven't had the balls to admit it. But that's why I'm here. The nudity I'm talking about is natural, everyday nudity. The type that happens when you're in the shower and when you're putting your clothes on, and for a lot of listeners, while you're sleeping, like myself. I enjoy sleeping in the nude, and that's the nudity I'm talking about now. Now, really, what I'm getting at is an extrapolation of this nudity, an extension of this nudity is where we should be heading as a society, where we should have been as a civilization a long damn time ago, but for whatever reasons, well, and I have a few ideas on that, I'm sure you do too, religion being one of those, antiquated laws being another, the influence of antiquated laws first constructed by the Roman Empire and other such absurd governments. Those still have carried on into our present state, our present construct of legal structure that really serves only a small percentage of people, the few percent who make the laws, which of course are also the ones who break the laws more than anyone else, but just have a great excuse or cover-up or alibi or simply know how to maneuver out of the public eyes that are too busy scrutinizing themselves. And this scrutiny is something that we need to be doing more of, but only if we're all nude. Yeah, we should be scrutinizing ourselves when we're nude, not when we're clothed, because really, when you're wearing clothes, how interesting can you be? You may be wearing Levi's jeans or designer Prada or some other hot Italian designer, but underneath that, who the hell knows what you really look like? So if you're scrutinizing that guy down the aisle on the subway or the SkyTrain, or if you're checking out that hot girl in your economics class, 2 rows over, 3 seats down, or just the checkout person at the supermarket, whoever it is you're scrutinizing, you don't really know what they look like because they're wearing their clothes. And by the time you find out what they look like, you've probably spent a couple of $100, if not $1,000 on dating them, and the time you've put in, and then if you find out you're dealing with a saggy skeleton underneath, or a suppressed blimp that pops out as soon as the last button on her pants or skirt comes undone, well, if you're dealing with one of those extreme situations, then I ask you, wouldn't you prefer at that point to live in a society where everyone is nude, at least when the weather permits it, at least indoors, like in the malls in the wintertime? It would make life much simpler then. It would be the type of experience that could lead to a more open society, not just on a physical aspect, but as well on emotional and intellectual as well. So we're talking here less secrets overall, better communication, more like WikiLeaks. That's really the direction our society should be heading if we have any hope at all. It seems to me the governments and other authorities, a lot of which are self-appointed, not really democratic, because only they who are willing to spend the money and have the influential friends and contacts get elected. So they are really self-appointed, not elected. Regardless, those people at the top, they are not really following the same laws that they set out for us. They're naked quite a bit. You wouldn't know it by watching the political channels, either the provincial legislatures or the House of Commons in Ottawa or the Congress in the States. You wouldn't know it. You'd think these stiff suits and skirts are all asexual underneath or something. You'd think that they never had a hard-on or a wet pussy or something, because their clothes are perfectly starched and stuck to their stuck-up bodies and minds, or at least their wigs are, or their oversprayed and overstyled hairdos. So it's easy then to stand there or sit there prophesizing and maintaining these antiquated no nudity laws, and try and convince the common brainwashed North American that it's somehow in our best interest. It's not in our best interest. As I said before, we are the only species on planet Earth that construct fake skin and not only wear it ourselves and encourage others to wear it, but actually persecute and prosecute anyone who dares not conform with this mad, totally insane philosophy, tradition, whatever you want to call it. So, what we need to do is we need to pick a day or two, or make it a month or two, where we just let it all loose. And maybe we need to raid some legislature or the House of Commons in Ottawa, or some other high-profile public place where we would get maximum attention. And maybe better yet, not only should we raid these places en masse in the nude, not in the wintertime, sorry, don't misunderstand me, it is January now, when it warms up, not only should we raid these places of so-called power or real power, but not authority, really, because it's self-appointed, so they really have no authority over us, only the false authority they give themselves. But we should raid these places of government, and not only should we raid them nude, but we should rip off the clothes off of these monkeys who make these laws. We should rip their clothes off and, stick them in front of the camera and show everyone what they really look like. They may be ashamed of their bodies because they've never stepped on a treadmill or lifted a dumbbell in their lives, and they may be ashamed because they are deeply religious or just deeply psychotic. But mostly it's because they're hypocritical, and they figure, hey, if everyone else is forced to wear their clothes but not them when they're indoors with their high expensive prostitutes and swingers parties they go to, well then they'll just get that much more attention and more action themselves. And now at this point, You can see the cold weather is getting to my brain, and this program is about to end because of that, because the window is broken.